Everyday superpower, we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Go talk about boundaries today. You must have boundaries as a man. You must have boundaries, and not only must you have boundaries, it makes sense to really accentuate the fact that you do have them boundaries when it makes sense. Okay? I feel that to be aware and understanding of your boundaries is less so of what you are taught as a man. Like, you must behave in this way and that way for this particular purpose, and you just sort of take that as granted. Let's say you had a father figure who was giving you game and he was just like, don't let someone say this to you, don't let someone say that. That's understandable. But I feel you really enforce a great understanding of boundary, and you really create powerful masculine principle when you understand the social element and intention as to when you should push back. It's okay feeling, oh, I've been told a woman shouldn't make jokes about me in this realm or that realm, but to understand why she would be doing that and why she's testing you and why, then it really makes sense, because you understand the deeper rooted connotation, and you know, well, if I react in this way, I'll get this result, and if I react in that way, I'll get that result. When it comes to boundaries and having principles and so forth, it is a masculine principle. I am speaking to the men primarily, you know. It's alright for women, but I think the game is definitely one of masculine essence, because men will test you to see if they can walk all over you and end up bullying you. And you might think, oh, I'm not getting bullied, I'll never get bullied. Yeah, that's because it's more indirect and more oblique than what it used to be in high school. Like, people aren't allowed to steal your stuff. Well, you say that. Go to many workplaces, you'll find people getting bullied. Someone's always getting bullied because there's a natural pecking order and hierarchy. And these people don't have boundaries. These people might have boundaries, but they allow these boundaries to be walked all over, to be pushed outwards. And they're a laughingstock because of that, because they don't showcase the masculine principle, which is respected. So, that being said, that's the men. When it comes to the women, yeah, that's what shit testing is. A woman, it don't matter if you've been with her 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, she's always consistently going to be trying to get at you to see where you stand in the pecking order. Let's say, this is the bleak reality, let's say you've passed through flying colours, you have a great sense of self, you know your value as number one. You can take her or leave her, right? Why the hell not? You know your value, and this isn't in a delusional sense. You've garnered confidence through your competence in your given field and self-understanding and worldview, and you're a realist about it, or at least through your own perspective and perception you're a realist, and she respects you for that and says, right, well, I'm not going to find another man like that, because all these other men don't know where they stand and they don't have strict boundaries. They don't tell me to stop when I'm going too far. They don't say don't do that. They don't say I'm out of the door if you do that again. They're not saying that because they're too dependent, and they flip the script and they are subservient to me and what I've got between my legs. I utilize this and weaponize this in order to get what I want from these weak men. But this man doesn't fall for that and renders me powerless. She sees you as different, but 5 years down the line, you're going out for lunch with her, and this incredibly attractive waiter comes along. I mean, he doesn't have the financial status of yourself. He doesn't have this, that, and the third that you possess. He doesn't have the woman you have who is sitting there with you. But she still goes out of her way to intentionally flirt with him before you to see how you react 5 years in. Because she is still subconsciously, biologically picking out where you stand. Yeah? Now that's a test as to whether you accept it or not. It's a showcase of boundary, right? Now, I'm not to say you have to act up and be insecure, because the reality of it is, I've identified what you're doing, I've peeped that game, I see straight through you, right? You're asking me to respond in some degree of emotional manner in relation to what you're doing. You're just embarrassing yourself. I'll put onto one side maybe I will punish you in one way or another. You know what I mean? After this is done, I'll see you in a bit, babe. I've got my own stuff to do. I'm off. I'm too busy focusing on myself. And if you want to play them games, you can sit alone. Do you know what I mean? I'm not with you. And you can sit along and just sit about how I flied through that test, because with these tests, there's two alternatives. Either you fail and be seen lesser in the face of her, or you pass and you're seen as somebody worthwhile keeping, right? Because you know your value. It's just like, if I'm wearing a £5,000 suit, right? And you're there, nah, who cares? Who cares? There's no metaphorical value. It is what it is. So boundaries exist, and how you react doesn't have to be incredibly blatant, but to some degree you do have to say stop, and she'll respect you for that, because it's not her job to tell you what to do, when you should do it, and how you should do it. Do you see where I'm coming from? As a man, a masculine principle is independence, yeah? She should be able to come to you with any question in the world, and you have a resolution and a response to it. Don't get me wrong, she might not necessarily be looking at that, because sometimes a logical response is the last thing she bloody wants, but she'll come to you with guidance needed, and you need to be that giver of light. You need to always possess that degree of leadership, yeah? The idea of a woman coming to you and asking you a question is a beautiful thing, because in that particular moment she's looked to you for guidance. She has believed in you to the degree where she's had to ask a question for a response, and in doing so she's played herself in submissive role, because the student is submissive to the teacher, who plays the dominant role in the hierarchy. So these are all little things that add up that you need to pay attention to. When I was speaking on boundaries, I was speaking of, you need to identify when somebody is trying to push against them. Otherwise, if you're not aware of self and your own personal beliefs and boundaries, you will be sent through these ever consistent emotional waves of just consistent dating and romantic turmoil. Oh, why did she do that? Why is she doing that? Did she do that for a reason? There is a reason. Yeah? And the more they're coming through, it feels like she's testing me each and every day. Why? Why? There is a reason why she's amped it up. Either she's in question of where you stand as a man and trying to push you here, there and anywhere, or it might be explanatory as where she is in her life and what she's doing behind closed doors. That's for you to decide and understand. When it comes to men, when a man tries to mug you off, tries to make a clown out of you, tries to tell you what to do in a manner as to which you can respectfully say, and this, I speak from personal experience, someone might have it all, but the moment I get an order given to me by someone who shouldn't be giving me orders, like in what I perceive as a disrespectful manner, move over there. What do you mean move over there? You know what I mean? Is there a please involved in that? A little bit of common courtesy, and I might take it in a more respectful manner, but the fact that you aren't politely requesting, but you are commanding and enforcing this statement, what does that make me to do that? Oh yeah, I'll do exactly what you say, sir. Do you see where it places me? I agree and accept that we're equals, right? But the moment you tell me what I should do when I believe that's wrong, and I set my boundary up and say no, or say, are you going to say please in regards to that? And either you end up saying please or blah de blah de blah, you've just set yourself up, because as a man you've now placed yourself below me, because you've acknowledged where you stand within that hierarchical masculine structure. I wasn't playing them games until you decided to push upon me and see where my boundaries were set. Do you see where I'm coming from? Because the moment I say yes sir and move along, there's a lion inside of that man that identifies the prey he has just dealt with. Yeah? Salesmanship. It's salesmanship. If I can get 10 yeses out of you, what's an 11th yes? When I say buy the product, you know what I mean? Do you like this? What do you think about this? It's good, isn't it? Do you think it suits you? Do you think your wife would be happy about this? Do you think, yes? All right, brilliant, buy the product then. But the moment you get that no, It's like a gunshot in the night, man. That no, and the word no, and the power that comes from no, and how hard it is to initially get into saying no when it comes to particular people, I understand. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And boundaries and etc., even though you must play a submissive role from time to time as a human being, as part of the theatrics of life and the dynamic of life, right? I mean, you can't just go around walking on everyone's toes. Sometimes the structure isn't set up for that. But speaking personally, I will get fired. I haven't done, but I will get fired. I will get into trouble with authoritarian figures. I will annoy people, irritate people, have people respond in outburst towards me in an emotional sense, because I will never, and knowingly never, back down on what I feel is right for the sake of appeasing someone else, regardless of what you are supposed to do in that particular environment. You see where I'm coming from? So there will be friction in you setting boundaries, but that's the point. And where you develop that friction and engage in that conflict per se, it will develop you as a stronger man. You'll come out with a few bumps and bruises, and you might feel a bit uncomfortable as you return back to wherever you were prior, and in your head you're thinking, geez, like, I must have really annoyed that person by saying no. Some come to me, man. Oh, can you sort us a testimony out? Can you sort me a review out? And I'll buy you this. I said no, respectfully no. Why? Well, I just can't be bought, mate. Do you know what I mean? There's levels to it. If I don't know you that well to want to aid you in that way, I'm not going to attach my name to something that is false for the sake of you classical conditioning me. Give me a little treat because I've done what you've said. Come on. There's boundaries and principles that you must abide by, and if you don't have them and you don't know where to start and you don't know what you should believe in, understand what makes a man, and understand how you will be tested, and understand your own personal journey, that everyone's going to have a different separation, but nobody respects a pushover, although they lubricate communication to the finest degree, where it's just like so easy to talk to somebody. It's sort of like, well, if you're interested in women, they're not going to respect you because they're going to look at you like a bloody pushover. They're going to look at you like a lesser man. They're not going to look at you like a man. A man and the masculine is the dominant force, and you're acting in this submissive means, entwining with the feminine to a degree as to where you are just not deemed competitive in the dating market with men who have got these boundaries, principles, and self-understanding of what they believe in. If you don't believe in anything, like, well, come on, right or wrong, you know? And that's some game. That's some game that I wholeheartedly believe it's ever so important. So I'm uploading each and every day. Click like and subscribe. And with that being said, I got 2 links down in the description. One's my catalogue of body language, over 220 videos how to read people through their subconscious behaviour, alright, how to read minds essentially. Second to that is the Patreon, where you'll join me in watching real life first dates. I'll break down attraction and repulsion body language. You'll see that wherever you are in the world, because it's hardwired within all of us. And that's the game. I'm signing out. Peace.